And thanks for watching the Market Day Report. I'm Janet Adkisson. Frustration over renewable fuel waivers escalates as the Advanced Biofuels Association files a lawsuit against the EPA. RFD-TV's Sarah Mock reports on the motivation behind the issue.
A refinery owned by billionaire Carl Icahn received an EPA waiver excusing it from obligations under the RFS, and the Advanced Biofuels Association wants to know why.
Given the fact that we now know that he gave the Oklahoma refiner CVR an exemption, which had never previously got one, and that Mr. Icahn is, been close and a contributor to Mr. Trump, we wanted to know on what grounds were these being done. So we thought a federal judge would be the best way to get that answer.
The waiver excused Icahn's company, CVR Refinery, from tens of millions of dollars in requirements to blend biofuels or buy renewable fuel credits, known as RINs. McAdams says Pruitt's EPA has nearly tripled the number of waivers issued under the Obama administration, wreaking havoc in the industry.
We have seen a very significant drop in the value of the D6 RIN since the first article came out from Thomson Reuters concerning these exemptions that have been granted by EPA to, quote, small refineries, end quote. Now the refineries seem to be larger than they were in the past. Now the exemptions seem to be far more plentiful.
RIN prices have been cut in half in recent weeks, which could lead to less demand for ethanol and eventually lower commodity prices. Growth Energy CEO Emily Skor called this, quote, just one more example of the EPA taking money out of the pockets of American farmers and undermining President Trump's promise to rural communities. But McAdams says farmers aren't the only victims and describes these waivers as fundamentally inequitable.
We felt that the best way to get to the bottom of this was get in front of a federal judge and ask, why don't we know how this process works, and why is it that EPA continues to bill the American driving consumers for the cost of this program while they're letting people off the hook and not telling us why they're letting them off the hook.
McAdams says one goal of the lawsuit is to understand the full cost of these waivers.
What does that do to the whole program? Does that disincentivize people from blending? Does it lead to less blending? We don't know, because we haven't seen this application of this section of the law done the way it's been done by this administration.
McAdams says the EPA has failed to respond to several requests for information, including to a letter sent by 13 farm state senators requesting additional explanations of the waiver process. For RFD-TV, I'm Sarah Mock in Washington.
Well, senators are also fighting for other moves in the biofuels industry. They sent a letter to the EPA demanding a timeline regarding the president's pledge to lift regulations against summer